an issue that you could solve. You know what I mean? Like that's how you get in these rooms. That's how you know what I mean? That's how you, when you're talking to these people that you're trying to work with or that you're looking up to, find a problem you can solve for them. And I love that you did that, and that's how you landed that spot.
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
What was your first sort of step? What was your next step, I guess, after that?
So this is how I got the ideas that I was gonna step into the music business. So we were doing, at the time, we was doing Lucky Lounge on Wednesdays, and if you was in Atlanta around 2007, 8, 9, Lucky was the hottest party in the city.
Yeah.
Bar none, no party was hotter than that. And we had ended up, just like I said, partnering with Hannah Kane. You know, everybody know Hannah is the person that do all
the parties.
The parties now. Yeah. So if you see like P party, she did that party. Like Lotto party, she did her party. Like all the big build outs of every artist right now to doing a party.
They going through Hannah King.
So I was, at the time we was business partners. She had a client, was Amari Stoudemire, who played for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
So it was All-Star in Phoenix, and she was like, yo, come and help me. You know what I'm saying? Because I got my client and we're going to do some events out here for All-Star. Yeah. So we go out to All-Star, we locked in, and while we was there, she was still Grand Hustle GM at the time. They had T.I., Young L.A. They had a bunch of different artists at the time. Young Dro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They was hot. So we go out there, and I'm talking at the time was the Vice President Clay Evans, because we was all together.
Yeah,
and I'm talking to
Clay.
I'm talking to Clay, and I'm like, yo, Clay, I'm trying to really step into the music. And he looked at me, he was like, for real, bro, I didn't know you was trying to get into the music. If I would have known, I would have hired you as Young LA's road manager. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah, for real. So then I was like, dang, that was an opportunity missed. I said that was an opportunity missed. So from that point, I just kept it in the back of my mind. So I was able to secure a job for Miller Coors. I was the urban marketing manager in Atlanta for Miller Coors. So I was doing events and partnerships and sponsorships, and I was, reaching out to my connects and doing events and things. And then I'm never gonna forget, like, guy had a plan. Yeah. December 26, 2011. I got laid off
from Miller
Coors.
Okay, yeah.
So it happened to be the same time T.I. was getting out of jail the last time, and we were doing a New Year's party hosted by T.I. So we had that party hosted by Tip. We had another party hosted by Idris Elba around the corner. So we was doing two big parties. And when Clay came to the so at the time, Clay was working with Tip and he was working with DJ Drama. When he came to do the walkthrough, I talked to Clay and I'm like, yo, Clay, how you gonna move with DJ Drama and Tip? Yeah. And he looked at me, he was like, you right. And I was like, yo, let me move with Drama. Because I know he ain't gonna let me move with Tip. Yeah. And he looked at me, he said, call me on January 3rd after all this.
After the holidays.
After the holidays. So I called him on January 3rd. He like, bet. I called him, I said, yo, you remember I was asking you how you gonna move with Drum and Tip? And he was like, all right, let me see. I'm gonna figure something out. Yeah. So but first of all, let's just stop for a second.
I love that you pointed out an issue, and an issue that you could solve. You know what I mean? Like that's how you get in these rooms. That's how you know what I mean? That's how you, when you're talking to these people that you're trying to work with or that you're looking up to, find a problem you can solve for them. And I love that you did that, and that's how you landed that spot.
Yeah, that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So then from that point, what ended up happening was probably like 2 weeks later, he calls me and he like, "What you doing?" And shoot, I'm out of work. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You laid off.
I'm out of work, but you know, at the same time, I was always a hustler. So we was still doing events. I was still doing parties.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he said to me, "Drum shooting a video. I need you to pull up. I need to make an introduction." So I pull up to the video. He introduced me to Drum. He said, "Yo, just hang with Drum for today," and he leave.
Yeah.
I didn't know Drum. Drum didn't know me.
Right.
So, you know, I'm moving around with Drum while he's shooting the video, trying to figure out how to be of service, helping him, grabbing, you know, whatever what you need. You need a towel, you need something to drink. What we doing? You know, the whole just. So I'm just helping Drum out the whole day. Drum ain't said 2 words to me. I mean, he would only speak if he needed something, but he really
wasn't really talking.
He wasn't really talkative like that.
Yeah. So
then we go to the last scene. Clay meets us at the last scene, and actually, I'm gonna tell you, I remember it was Drum's song. He had a Future Ain't No Way Around It remix with Big Boy. So Clay meet us over there at the last scene, and he was like, "Yo, you done?" So then I leave, I go home, and then I'm like, "Damn, I don't know."
Yeah, if you did well, you don't know what happened.
Well, did anything?
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was another 2 weeks later, he called me. He was like, "What you doing Saturday?" And I was like, "Shit, what you need?" And he was like, "Well, Drum, we going to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Drum got a show. I want you to go so I can show you the ropes." I said, "I guess I did well." He said, like, "Send me your flight information." I sent him my flight info. Yeah. And then when I flew out there, then the rest was history.
You was in.
I was in. I was moving with Drum every weekend.
But I like the fact that, you know, you humbled yourself to the point where it's like whatever you need. You know what I mean? Like when he put you in a room with Drum, you need a towel, you need water. Because again, a second ago, we were just talking about how you built a whole network, how you were booking all the artists, but you wanted to make a change. You want to go in a different direction, and you humbled yourself enough to say, I know I built this business, but in order to get my foot into this door, I'm not going to have an ego about it. So I love that you did that, because obviously look at where you are today. You know what I mean? That was a step in the right direction for you. And so I think a lot of people that's watching need to understand, like, when you're trying to pivot or when you're trying to do something that you've never done before, you got it. No, it doesn't matter what you did in the past. We're doing something new now. If you got to start at the bottom, then you start at the bottom and you do it gratefully. Because if you wouldn't have been in a grateful mindset at that position of getting him a towel and water, you never would have got that call to fly out to Tampa, and you never would have became, you know, what you are now at Generation Now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to point that out. I just want to give you your props and make sure people understand that mindset. That's what I love about these interviews, is because it really paints the picture of mindset. What is the mindset it takes to be successful? You know what I mean? And so I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just love listening to you talk. I love hearing that you had the right mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. I appreciate that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of crazy because I did have, like you said, I did have to humble myself. Like, I was, at the time, we were doing the biggest parties in the city.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't no parties bigger than ours besides Alex, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, we were still doing parties with him, so we had built a relationship and a brand. But at the same time, this was the direction I wanted to take my life. So I understood at the time, I needed to make a change. And I can still remember, shout out to my brother Don Cannon, when I was still, at the time I was still, road managing, but I was still throwing parties, and I had 2 feet in different places. Yeah. And Cannon was like, "Pat, if you really want to do this music, bro, you're gonna have to take 1 foot, and you're gonna have to put both feet in music.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take that leap of faith and put both feet in music." And that's what I did. I took the leap of faith, and I stopped throwing parties for years. Yeah. Just to focus directly on music. Yeah. And it took me. I am where I am today.
So let's talk about that first year with Drum, right? Like what era? Because Drum would have been through a lot of eras. What era is this right here? That first year. What era was that?
This was the era. It's funny because it was still the era where him and Jeezy wasn't necessarily on good terms. So it's like it was after Grand Hustle, where he still had a great relationship with Grand Hustle, but it was at the same time, he was after he got out of jail, but after him and Jeezy had fell out at the time, so they still had a little beef. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. So what was like some of the big projects in that moment for Drum?
I mean, he did what we did. What album did we do? We did the album where we did My Moment. That was the song of the time with him, Jeremiah, 2 Chainz. And at the time, that was right before we started touring. So at the time, what we were doing, we actually was building Drama's brand back up to, superstar status. Like we were doing, like with Drum, Drama's a special kind of talent because Drama at the time, we could go DJ Vegas, we could go DJ Miami, he could go DJ New York, but then we also go DJ Tulsa, Oklahoma. He also can go DJ Norfolk, Virginia. He also could go DJ, so he can go from the biggest to the smallest venue. So we could never know where we were gonna be on a weekend. We could be in some lavish hotel in Vegas and doing some big club, or we'll turn around and be in some back hole in the wall barn in Norfolk, Virginia, DJing.
That just means Drum wasn't leaving no money on the table. That's what that means. You wasn't leaving no money on the table. So okay, so boom, you in a position, you now working with Drum, you're now working with the team. How do you transition that into your own career? So basically at the time, Drum, Lake, and Cannon had formed a label, but at the time they really didn't have a name for it. So they were actually looking for artists, and Cannon had found Uzi. Yeah. So when he found Uzi, he brought Uzi to Atlanta, and pretty much we started working on Uzi. We put out his first project, and we went on tour. So at the time, I'm still playing road manager, tour manager, but not necessarily for Drum. I'm starting to move with Uzi. Yeah. So I'm moving with Uzi. We go on Uzi's first tour, and that first tour, he co-headlined with Playboi Carti. But Playboi Carti didn't have a team around him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was just, Uzi had a team. We had everything lined up. Everything was taken care of. But Carti didn't have a team. Yeah. He was just out there just making it happen. You know what I'm saying? He was figuring it out as he was going, which was cool at that time in his career because we weren't really making no real money, but we really had an opportunity. And when we went on that tour, them two boys was selling out every city we went to. Yeah. And it wasn't like we was doing real big venues. We was still selling out, but it was like between 200 to 500 seats. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they was selling out, and it was a new wave, and it was something different, and it was happening. And was that the tour with Lucci?
Nah, that was the tour with Lucci was the next tour. Okay, got you. Yeah, because I remember that was my first time seeing Uzi was on the Lucci. Well, I don't know if it was Uzi tour or Lucci, I don't remember, but that was my first time seeing it. Was at that show. Yeah, it was Uzi tour. Okay. We took that tour. We took 21 Savage, we took Lucci, and we took what's his name, Cap G, and actually Kodak was supposed to co-headline with Uzi, but he got locked up.
Damn, okay.